right before we started recording, everybody, Tucker asked if I checked for my notes up my butt. So before we get started, I just felt like it was important for everyone to hear that. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Sad Dad Games podcast. You are listening to an episode of Eric's Indie Corner, where I, Eric, pick an indie game every week that I want to recommend to all of you and to talk about. So the game this week that we're talking about is a game called Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo.
Right. You're not saying it right.
No.
We had a whole thing. You guys. So this is a game developed by a Brazilian studio, and Pipistrello sounds like it's most certainly a name of Italian origin, but I'm not going to give it an Italian accent every time I say it. I'm just going to call it Pipistrello because I'm an American person, and that's how an American person would say Pipistrello.
Yeah, you're trying to bastardize it with your American accent, but like you're not even putting like this accent on it with your hand.
A Pipistrello.
A pipistrello.
That's so close. That was almost
pulls out
it.
the accent.
All right. So as it would be pronounced in Italian would be pipistrello. And so the double L would make the Y sound, and you'd also put the accent right before the double consonant. So pipistrello. And the most bastardized version that you can do is just pipistrello. Right?
I'm going to call it Pipistrello.
Pipistrello.
Nope. I'm going to call it Pipistrello. And I refuse to conform because in my research and in playing this game, it's the American way. And in my research and in playing this game and watching reviews and watching other people pronounce this, I have literally only heard it said Pipistrello. And so that's what I'm going to do. Correct pronunciation be damned. Yeah.
Popcorno.
Popcorno.
I don't know what you're saying. It's popcorn in Italian.
It reminds me of
Pop Americano.
Pop Americano. Pop.
We've been watching The Office because I'm always watching The Office, and we just watched the episode where they merged the branches together, and Karen Filippelli is leaving her voicemail message like for her outgoing thing, and she goes, "It's Karen Filippelli, leave me a message." And Jim goes, "Well, you're Italian, make it more Italian." She goes, "Karen Filippelli, leave me the message, abbondanza." And then she like immediately changes back, Karen Filippelli. So that's how I feel right now. I'm doing my American accent of what is probably an Italian word. All right, so
thanks for trying.
I did my best. You know, I'm not a great accent guy.
If that's your
best, okay. Well,
then I
didn't do my best. I didn't do my best.
Whoa, shots fired.
Where did that? I don't know what that has to do with anything. Liz is always very disappointed with my lack of Italian accents around the house.
No, with your shortcomings.
Oh, I see now. It was a sex joke. I get it. Yeah. All right. So, getting back on topic, Pipistrello is developed by a studio called Pocket Trap. It was released on May 20th, 2005, so fairly recently. And it is a self-described yo-yo-vania. Which is not a real genre, but it's a fun word. So it's more akin to like a top-down Zelda game, particularly of the Game Boy Advance era. So it really obviously, you know, I'm a big fan of Zelda. And so I saw a trailer for this and I was like, ooh, I feel like this is right up my alley. Like I said, released fairly recently. Other notable games from the studio. The studio has also released another video game called Dodgeball Academia, which is a RPG.
It's the same studio.
It is the same. Yeah, I sent this to Tucker because Dodgeball Academia has kind of like golf story vibes, but you play dodgeball instead. So it's like an RPG, but instead of battles, you play dodgeball. And so I sent that to Tucker because I know how much he likes golf story. So, and I actually started playing Dodgeball Academia, and so maybe that'll be another episode down the line sooner or later. But yeah, so it's always fun for me when I find like a new studio that I haven't heard of before, and I play a game, and then I realize that they've got like a couple other games that they've made previously that I haven't played. That's always a fun like indie find for me, is because then it's like, oh, there's this one game that I like, and they've got like 3 other games that I didn't know about. That's awesome. So yeah, I actually started off with playing Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, and then I went back and looked at some of their older games, and I've just started playing Dodgeball Academia. So, but yeah, I really like these guys. Pocket Trap, they make cool games, you know, so far from what I played. They're really, really good stuff. So, all right, so Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. You play as Pipistrello. He's an aspiring yo-yo champion. He is not an especially talented yo-yoer, but he wants to make it big as the yo-yo champion of the world. And because yo-yo champions don't make a lot of money, he is living off of, handouts from his very wealthy auntie, who owns a giant energy corporation that powers like the entire city that they live in. So Pippet is kind of a little Nepo baby, basically.
Classic Nepo baby storyline.
Classic Nepo baby. And so
he's very fond of Nepo babies.
Yeah. Who doesn't love a good Nepo baby? So that's actually how this game starts off, as Pippet goes to his auntie's mansion to ask for some money. And while he's there, 4 of his auntie's rivals, people who use energy from the energy company and who are being bled dry by her very greedy corporate tactics, are fed up with her. And so they come to kill her and trap her soul into 4 different soul batteries. But in the process of trying to trap her soul in these soul batteries, Pippet intervenes, and his auntie's soul gets split into 5 pieces, 4 into the soul batteries, and then 1/5 of her soul gets trapped in Pippet's yo-yo. And so your auntie is kind of like
Classic
your companion
Horcrux
character.
Situation.
Classic
I was thinking
Horcrux situation.
Too.
Exactly.
I'm like, there's some inspiration here.
Yeah. So basically your auntie kind of fills the role that like a companion character would from a Zelda game like Navi or Fi or Midna. So, but way less annoying than Fi, because Fi is the worst. But yeah, so it's a really fun setup, very lighthearted, a very silly story, but it gives you an excuse to go on the hunt for 4 soul batteries. So that's the inciting incident, and then you have to go out and do 4 Zelda-style dungeons to retrieve the batteries and put them back into the machine to bring your auntie back to life. So nice little inciting incident there. The story is a lot of fun. It's very colorful and interesting and strange. You meet a lot of kind of weird, wacky characters along the way. The story, the writing in this game is genuinely very clever and funny, and it had me give a pretty genuine chuckle more than once. It's a pretty funny game. It's a humorous game, very well written. And I enjoyed the story aspect of it a lot, even though it's fairly surface level. The characters are very likable, particularly Pippet, who is kind of like a lazy layabout. But as the game goes on, as he's going out helping his auntie and other people, he kind of evolves and turns into more of a likable but flawed, primary character. So big fan of that. All right, so gameplay. As far as gameplay goes, it does borrow a lot of cues from Zelda games, where it has that kind of top-down puzzle adventure, particularly since you go and you visit 4 main dungeons, and you have to go through solve puzzles in these dungeons to beat the boss at the end, and then you get the MacGuffin to kind of help you progress through the story. So it's very Zelda in structure in that way, but it does do a lot of things that differ from Zelda games in really meaningful ways, particularly in the setting. So it takes place in like a modern city, and so it feels very different from Zelda games, that are generally very fantasy based. Pipistrello is much more, kind of a modern city-based adventure. And so because of that, the map doesn't feel like quite as much as like a big open field as a lot of Zelda games do. It's like city streets and alleyways, and it feels a lot more like chunked off and segmented, sort of like a Metroid game where, you can't cross this thing because you need a power-up from later, and you can't get here because of this. So it's an interesting blend of like Zelda and Metroid, which I feel like have a lot of overlap already, but this game in particular feels a little more Metroidy because of the way its map is laid out. It's not quite as open.
So when you say that you need like a power up, do you mean like you learn new yo-yo tricks that help you progress? Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so you learn new yo-yo tricks, which is like Shan has kind of coined the term as chunky items or chunky upgrades, which is like a certain pathway may be gated until you learn a new yo-yo trick. And usually the way you learn a new yo-yo trick is you'll encounter an enemy that performs like a certain kind of yo-yo thing or something that can inspire you. And then your auntie goes, oh, that was a cool thing. I bet I could do that. Let's try it together. And so it's not like you found an item and now your yo-yo is magical and you can do this. It's like, oh, we saw them do that and now let's try to do that. We could probably do that too. So it's a fun little spin on like progressing your character and unlocking new abilities. So for example, like
how I would use chunky items. For me, it would be like single-use items that maybe can be used in different contexts, whereas this is just upgrading a single item.
Okay.
But I'll allow it, I guess.
Shan gave us permission, so it's okay. Yeah.
I keep using this word, chunky items, and it's awesome. I love it.
Let's make it a thing, everybody. Chunky items.
I just have to know like what the inspiration was for yo-yos. Like, was this person a loner who spent way too much time playing with their yo-yo alone in their room, and they had to try and... It's exactly what it means.
We were all teenagers.
What else could it mean?
We all played with our yo-yo in our room.
No. I was not playing with yo-yos. Maybe you guys. I don't know. I'm not equipped the same. But the point is I just like imagine someone who like tried to convince other people that yo-yos were cool, like magic is cool. And so you try to like show other people and they're like, eh. And so they went and made a video game just to show how cool a yo-yo could be. Like, just, that's so, why a yo-yo?
Did you guys not have the yo-yo people come to your school?
First of all, yo-yos are cool. Yeah. I have had, I guess I don't anymore. I had a yo-yo collection. I was a yo-yoer as a boy. I had Duncan yo-yos. I had one of, I forget the brand that made it, but I had a brain yo-yo that it would like, you threw it down and it had sensors inside of it. So it would automatically come back up after a certain amount of time. I had a butterfly yo-yo. I wasn't like amazing, but I could do some cool tricks. I was a medium yo-yo boy.
I could do
I could walk the dog.
Strauss, but
I could do that. I was no K Strauss. I knew it was going to happen.
Yo-yo guy.
The yo-yo guy. Look, there's K Strauss, the yo-yo guy. So for anyone who hasn't seen them, look up K Strauss, the yo-yo guy. And I don't even know if I want to tell you what they are because I think you just need to experience the magic for yourself.
You really do.
They're so good. It's the he plays Nate
Mark
on The
Proch.
Office. Mark Proch. He plays Nate from The Office. He plays what's his name in Into the Shadows? Colin Robinson and Into the Shadows. He's a very funny actor, but he had like in his past.
Do in the shadows. You said
What We Do in the Shadows. Sorry,
Who We
What
Do
We
in
Do
the
in the
Shadows.
Shadows. Who We Do in the Shadows. What yo-yos we play with in the shadows. But he used to be like a touring yo-yo guy. He would go and do like yo-yo tricks on news things and stuff. Very, very funny. Look up K Strauss. It'll change your life. He's the best.
But for context, because I didn't get this until I watched.
Whoa! No, that's the context they need to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
is.
Let them experience it. Let them just watch it. Watch it with fresh eyes.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No
It's
spoilers.
too good.
It's too good.
The yo-yo guy.
Hey, what's that about in the sky? It's K-Shoss, the yo-yo guy.
Oh, he's my favorite person. He's the best.
Please tell me that you withheld your yo-yo collection from Liz before you got married.
No, are you kidding me?
Really?
She knew what
Did
she
that
was
work
getting
on
into.
her?
Like Liz has
Yo-yo.
known me since Liz and I met when we were 17. There's not a thing she didn't know about me before we started dating.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things is when like, cause when we were like figuring out houses and stuff, it was always like, well, where are you going to put your action figures? And I was like, if I could marry you again, I would. Like, I just, it's like, that's all I've ever wanted. Yeah.
I don't know if
Because
you've
they were in
ever
boxes
seen-
for years.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen Raising Hope, but one of the quotes I
I
like
love
is-
that show.
Yeah, when
It's so funny.
Jimmy is like starting to date, I think Sabrina, or maybe it was like his mom who says this, but she's like, your child shouldn't question which toys are hers and which ones are yours.
Yes.
And I think about that all the time.
Yep. I know that exactly what you're talking. No, and it's these are Dad's toys. They're not toys. They're collectibles.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
some of them
just
are toys. Yeah.
For context, as of September 2025, the national median for a cost per square foot and for a mortgage is $226. So Liz was like, yes, here, you can have an entire room that is, I don't know, 100 square feet or whatever, just dedicated to toys.
Well, I
And
mean, I also
that's
work
a
from
costly
home.
room. And she's just like,
Good
cool with
woman.
that.
That is a
Before-
good woman. Yeah.
This was
I
before it
agree.
was your office. You could just have a toy room.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I mean, I work from home, so I need an office either way. So, yeah. I forgot what we were talking about. Pipistrello,
about
yo-yos.
yo-yos.
Yo-yos are awesome. I used to play with yo-yos, and they're amazing. And Pipistrello is amazing. I really like how everything in this game, it really ties in towards the things that you can do with your yo-yo. So when you attack, it just kind of you got to stop, Shan.
It's so super.
You can only hear it one way.
I ruined
Playing
it.
with your yo-yo only sounds like
You can
one
play
thing.
with your yo-yo, and you just flip it forward. You throw it forward with all your force as long
until
as
it
it can
whirs
go.
and
Yeah,
makes
until
funny
it
sounds
whirs.
and starts vibrating. Then you can pull it back.
Then you can pull it back. So I'm just going to keep talking about yo-yos because I don't know how to do this episode without talking about yo-yos. And
Do you
Shan's going
use
to
it
keep
for
snickering in the
keyholes?
background.
Do you put your yo-yo into keyholes to get past locked doors?
No, but you
Or-
whack
Oh.
enemies with it. You just
Oh.
slap them with it. Yeah.
I do have to point out though that Earthbound was the first one that I know of that used yo-yos as like a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Animal
yo-yos are
Well
very
also,
dangerous.
that game is a physics platformer, and they have a yo-yo in it that feels phenomenal, and it also makes a vibrating feeling to the controller when you throw it out. But you can walk the dog, you can do all that stuff with it. It's very cool.
Yeah, Animal Well's another one on my list that I'm getting to. That'll be an episode on that one for sure. I just need to play it first. But so this game, very yo-yo centric. I like how versatile the yo-yo is and all the different attacks that you can do with it. So when you normally attack an enemy, it just goes forward, like you would with a normal yo-yo. But if there's an angled surface, it'll like bounce the yo-yo at a 90-degree angle, and it'll just keep bouncing and bouncing. And so there are times where it'll be like there will be a path where you throw the yo-yo, and it'll go along this very long path and connect with whatever on the way. And they use that mechanic for a lot of extremely clever puzzles. The puzzles in this game are all universally very, very good. I don't think there was a single like puzzle that I was like, I don't understand, or this is bad, or like that felt too easy or that felt too hard. They all pretty much hit the exact right balance of like being tricky to figure out but satisfying. So that was what stood out the most to me in this game, I think, is that the puzzle design was extremely clever and very, very on point and very satisfying for someone who's a big fan of Zelda games. And just the way that you can, the different abilities that you learn, the different moves that you learn, and how you can use those to incorporate into battle, but also into puzzle solving scenarios was extremely satisfying and was kind of perfect. I was not expecting that level of quality in this game. I was expecting to really enjoy it, but the puzzles really blew me away. They're all universally very, very well done.
I always love feeling satisfied after playing with my yo-yo
Yeah.
for a couple hours.
Nothing like a good yo-yo puzzle to leave you feeling satisfied. Yeah. All right. So exploration is also very fun. It's nice that like even the map is fairly segmented, but you're always very rewarded for going off the beaten path. A lot of times exploring in games can feel a little hollow because either you find dead ends or the rewards you find at the end aren't really meaningful, but there's a lot of meaningful rewards. In Pipistrello, you get more heart containers, which are like rose petals, but you have to get 8 of them to get a new heart. So there's the way the life system works is differs pretty drastically from Zelda. You have less hearts in general, and so the gameplay flow feels a little different because of that. But finding things is always meaningful. There's lots of equipable badges that can modify your skills. There's lots of heart pieces that you can find. There's lots of stamina pieces that you can find that make your badge slots grow so that you can equip more badges. And so whenever you're exploring, there's always really meaningful things to find as you're going around. And so it's always worthwhile to kind of poke around and see what else is hiding around the corner. And also the puzzles are just fun to solve.
Just for some context here, what is this supposed to be, like an animal? It kind of looked like a bunny. Just for context, because like you're collecting, you said rose petals or something.
Yeah, so the rose petals kind of tie into the type of energy that they use. It's based off of these rose. It's all very silly, but it's like these rose petal flowers generate the energy for Pipistrello Industries. But the character that you're playing as is a bat. I like it. Took me a little while to realize it doesn't really look like a bat, but it's a bat. But all of the characters in the game are different versions of other like anthropomorphic animals. There are these construction worker enemies that I'm pretty sure are either hamsters or capybaras. But everything is kind of like these weird kind of versions of cartoon animals. And so that's another kind of fun flavor to the design.
Since nobody here has a curious mind, Pipistrello is Italian for bat.
Oh, there you go. I knew it. I knew it sounded
Pipistrello.
Italian. Well, so it's really on the
whole
nose.
time.
His name is Pipit
It's
Bat.
in the name.
Yeah.
So you
I don't
could
know why-
actually Google how to say it properly.
I don't know why it didn't
Yeah.
occur to me to look up what Pipistrello meant, but there
It
you
looks
go.
They
It looks
probably
Italian.
don't. It's probably
It's
a new
probably
word.
Italian.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It looks like
That's
a
it.
made up name, yeah.
Research over. Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
No, I brought up the nobody has a curious mind because I think I was watching what's his name, Tim Robinson, and there's a sketch he has where like this guy's being a pretentious dick about trivia night, and he's only put in names of like famous jazz artists, and at one point he's going off
Love
on
me
his
some
wife.
Roy Donk.
Yeah, Roy Donk, exactly.
Roy Donk.
On one point he's going off on his wife. He's like, it's this person such and such, the reason that you'll, and like he, for some reason randomly inserts is like, and you know how you'll never be a good writer because you don't have a curious mind. He's just very condescending and insulting, and everything he says for no reason. It doesn't add anything to the to what he's saying.
I love
Some
Tim
Colgate
Robinson. He's
hour.
hilarious.
Yeah.
No.
Runs his mouth on,
Okay.
on gazpacho soup that's at room temperature.
Oh, but I went in thinking that the gazpacho would be cold, and so if you expect that and it's room temperature, you would burn yourself.
That's totally how that works. That sounds right.
Uh,
So, all right. So
Very funny.
Pipistrello is Italian for bat. We learned something new here. So, which makes sense because Pipit is a bat, and as is his auntie. So yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. So exploring is very meaningful. Lots of fun things to find and upgrade. And it has a really interesting upgrade system where there's kind of like a skill tree for you to upgrade abilities, but how it works is different from what I've seen in previous games. So rather than just like saving up money or saving up points or whatever and then purchasing an upgrade when you're able to, you're able to just purchase or kind of rent an upgrade right away. And each upgrade has negative debuffs associated with it. So for example, it's like, all right, this thing might help you. It gives you, you know, I don't know, a simple example. It gives you an extra health point. But while you have this upgrade, you know, your yo-yo does 2 less damage than normal. And so you take that upgrade and now you're indebted to the person that you bought the upgrade from. And it takes 50% of all of the coins that you collect and puts it towards that debt. And then once the debt is paid off, then you can have that upgrade without any of the negative side effects. And then you can rent a new upgrade.
no strings attached.
With no strings attached. No yo-yo strings attached.
It's a rent-to-own structure.
Yeah, so rent to own, exactly. So I thought that was kind of a
like
fun
my
spin
employer.
on things. I thought it was fun because it made you consider the negative consequences of taking on an upgrade and how much money it cost and how long you thought it would take you to pay that off. So if you were about to go and do like a difficult boss battle, you're like, well, I want this upgrade, but I don't think I should do it right now. Maybe I'll save it for a little bit later. And so it added an extra layer of like consideration when picking a skill tree. So I like that. I thought that was fun. All right. So now talking a little bit more about visuals and sound. We touched on it a little bit. I really enjoy this art style. I've been digging a lot lately, kind of like Game Boy Advance era feeling style games. And this game very much feels like a Game Boy Advance game. So much so that when you boot up the start menu, it actually loads in a 3-dimensional like pretend handheld console called the Pocket Trap Gaming Console. And you can use that as like a screen filter if you want. You can have this like on-screen pretend game console and then like a smaller screen inside of that where you can play the whole game if you want. So it really gives off this vibe of like being a handheld game for the Game Boy Advance by like being a pretend, you know, Game Boy Advance game. And it does this by having a really like neon kind of a color palette. There's these, you know, Pipit is this really kind of deepish blue, but there's lots of like neon reds and neon oranges. In this, it gives it a really bright kind of a handheld feeling style, these chunky pixel art pixels. And it also has this kind of like early 2000s punk rock kind of graffiti vibe to it. It feels very much like early 2000s kind of like fringe Nintendo stuff, like WarioWare kind of a vibe almost. Artistically. And so I really like the visual style in this. I think it does a good job of kind of like finding a little niche and fulfilling that vibe really, really well.
Yeah, kind of, I guess, yeah, reminds me a little bit of Shibuya. Remember, Tucker? It's the only place in Japan with graffiti.
Yeah, it is.
They just get rid of all of the rest of the graffiti?
At
Or
Shibuya Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
why
a
is that?
specific street that has like graffiti on it, and like that's like the punk part of Tokyo.
Yeah, they
Is it-
allow the youth to create graffiti, I guess, or something like that. Or maybe
It's like
they hire artists. I don't know.
the
I went
Purge
to a
graffiti
basement and,
edition.
like, had an otter experience on that street. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
You had a
I
what
had a similar
experience?
otter experience.
Otter. So you go down to this basement and you like put on like this, I don't know, like jacket, and then you just sit in this room and they have these sea otters and they just like let these sea otters loose in this room and they come and like eat like treats off of you, and it was the coolest thing in the world because like
They climb on your
Savannah and
head.
All
Yes,
right.
Savannah had
All
an
right.
otter fall asleep on our lap, and it was amazing. It
That's
was
adorable.
They're the puppies.
That sounds
of the
great.
wild. Yeah.
There are a
Water
lot-
puppies.
Yeah, Japan has a lot of cool animal encounter experiences, probably because they don't have the same regulations that the United States have. So if you want cool animal encounters, go to Japan.
There you go. I had no idea. So you go to Shibuya to see the graffiti and play with the otters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for
So
the
yeah,
food, there's some. Good
I would think kind of a Japanese graffiti vibe to the whole game. It has this kind of like interesting sort of a punk rock vibe to it, and all the characters have this like kind of a strange illustrative style to them that's hard to adequately describe, but it has a distinctly unique art style, and I dig it.
Yeah. It's not Japanese graffiti specifically. I just wanted an excuse to talk about Shibuya.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just graffiti where they use
It's just
bright
normal
colors.
graffiti. Yeah. No, it's specifically Japanese graffiti for this Italian rat or this Italian bat from a Brazilian studio. Japanese graffiti, all of the places. Yeah.
Yeah, when I lived in Portugal, I met one kid specifically who only aspired to grow up to be a graffiti artist. And so, yeah, he was living on the underbelly of society. So he was going out and trying to do the graffiti at night, but he wasn't good enough.
Got to go do the graffiti. All right. Well, so last but not least, the music for the game is very, very good. It's composed by Leonardo Lima and Henrique Lorenzi, with guest composer Yoko Shinomura. I did okay. Not great. Okay.
No,
I
I was
did
just
okay.
going to say, you never want to have a Yoko in your band.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why it was just a guest composer. Yeah, guest composer.
That's
Only
how
a
it
couple
started
of
with the
tracks.
Beatles
Yoko
too.
Ono was a guest. Yeah, was a guest.
That's a good point. Yeah.
There's
That's
a
not
lot of
what you want.
similarities here.
So we're gonna break up the band. Yeah, but it's a really nice chiptune soundtrack. Again, harkens very much to that kind of Game Boy Advance era of audio styles. It's kind of like a high energy punk pop vibes. Mixed with some, more mellow beats for when you're in dungeons. But, again, really playing off of that Game Boy Advance kind of a vibe. It makes you feel like you're playing a Game Boy Advance game. So, yeah, big fan of Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. I think it's a super awesome game. It's a game that kind of took me off guard that I liked a lot more than I thought I would. And I anticipated that I would really enjoy it. It seemed like a game that was right up my alley. And even still, it caught me off guard with its pretty consistent quality in storytelling, puzzle design, and just gameplay in general. I really enjoyed this game. Had a lot of fun with it. All right, so playtime for Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is going to take you 12 to 20-ish hours, so a little more meaty than some games. It's available on Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series, and is only $19.99. So a steal, great deal. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, solid recommend for me. Really enjoyed this game. All right.
That's much longer of a game than I would have expected, given the style of it and other games in that genre.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
very intriguing.
I was expecting something a little shorter as well, and but it didn't feel like it kept dragging on. You know, it wasn't like all right, let's wrap it up. It was very like it kept a good pace for pretty much the whole time, and I put in probably about 14 hours myself. I didn't do everything, but I did a little extras here and there, and so yeah, I felt like it was pretty much exactly the right length for me. So really enjoyed it. All right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for listening to another episode of Eric's Indie Corner. Remember that you can find us wherever you find podcasts and listen to our regular series every Thursday, Eric's Indie Corner every Monday. And like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Outro. Bleep-a-doof, bleep-a-deep, bloop-a-dee-blow.